Dollars?
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Nicholas, looks like you're walking through the skies. You're on the treadmill.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
realize with the background it might look like I'm walking through the sky. I could put a forest if that's less like weird.
Be more logical, but these days with AI,
Yeah,
never know.
it's true. It's true.
All right. Welcome everyone to the weekly meeting. If you're in a safe situation, maybe not while you're running on the treadmill, but a nice steady walk. I'd appreciate it if you turn your camera on so we can make this an interactive meeting. Today, just going to be rehashing some of the things that we talk about quite often. Getting licensed ASAP, how to pass your licensing exam, things to think about before pushing through with your application, all that stuff. So for those of you that are already licensed, I'll ask for you to chime in with recommendations that you have for the folks that aren't quite there yet, and folks that are working on their license exam and all that. Feel free to chime in with questions on things that might come to mind as we go through this. Before we get started, any general questions about the program? All right. So first thing, getting licensed ASAP. A lot of people that I talk to that are just getting started in the program, they think about the whole piece where you can't get compensated for the 6 months or however long you're in the program until you graduate. And so they say, oh, I'm just going to focus on the training. I'm just going to, read books and do that until I get out of the program. And then I'm going to start working on my business because then I can actually be compensated. And thinking about that in terms of like this, what Nick talked about last week, and just like thinking about real estate investing in general. If you're to tell yourself, I'm just going to hold off until I'm out of the military to start real estate investing, and you're just going to read books about real estate investing, and you're going to watch listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, and not actually do it until then because you want to focus on your military career. You just want to hold off on doing anything else besides military life until you get out. And the folks that are in this group, I'm sure you can attest, if you were to wait until after you retire from the military or after you're completely done with your military career to jump into real estate investing, it wouldn't turn out that well because you're going to get into that first real estate deal and realize there's so much stuff you could have been doing from your very first enlistment or your first year in service, and the equity you could have built up in properties, the experiences you could have had, good and bad, that you could have learned from along the way. And so that's your opportunity with being a licensed realtor. You can be doing that right now. Yes, you can't be compensated for the deals you close, but you can be compensated in the form of the experience, the wisdom you're going to get from interacting with clients. I know when I first started, and you first talk to somebody that's interested in doing real estate with like getting your help with buying or selling, you get super excited and you're like, this is awesome, I have my first lead. And then you're helping them shop around for homes and stuff, and then it just doesn't work out. And so you learn from that experience of like, what did I do right, what did I do wrong? But you wouldn't have that experience of working with a client unless you're actually a licensed realtor, or at least you shouldn't be. And the way you get to that is by getting licensed ASAP. Some people also say, like, think to themselves, like, I'm just using this time and skill bridge to figure out if I actually want to get into real estate, working as a realtor, or just licensed at all to help with my real estate investing efforts. And you won't know if you like it or not until you actually do it. Just like I talked about with real estate investing, until you actually get into it, you're not going to know what it's like. And so I highly recommend jumping into it. And then the third thing that people say is the costs of getting licensed. And so if you were to close just one deal, that would cover your licensing costs, so that instead of putting off whether or not you're going to like real estate or not until after you get out of the military, and you figure it out now. Okay, so you close one deal. Once you're out, you get compensated. That covers your licensing fees, and so you're at break even financially. But you figured out, I really don't like this whole driving around town, showing people houses. Kind of, I'm running around like I'm some kind of private, or like I'm just junior person that can just be ordered around by this client of mine. This isn't what I've pictured myself doing after the military. So I'm going to do something else. But you can get to that point of realizing this profession isn't for you before you get out by getting licensed ASAP. Any questions on that topic, or anything people want to add? People who are in real estate investing or are licensed, that whatever you want to add. Roger?
Yeah, I just had a question. So I know once we become licensed for, I believe it's our first 3 real estate transactions, we have a mentor, right, that kind of walks you through. Do we get to pick who that person is? Because I know personally of 3 EXP realtors that are near me within a vicinity. But like there's this one guy I want to work with, but I don't know if he's like part of the skill bridge program or if this is the EXP like standard, like everybody gets a mentor for the first 3.
Yep. Yeah. So everybody gets a mentor, unless you're joining a team, in which case your team has to have a certified mentor as the team lead or on the team, in order to fulfill that requirement. So as far as your question about, can you pick your mentor? Yes, you can. And so when you're filling out the application to get onboarded, there'll be a box that says, do you want to do the mentorship program, which you would have to if you're not joining a team. And then it offers you a box to put in the name of the person. That person does have to be a certified mentor, which it's not a very challenging requirement to do that. So like the people that you have in mind that you'd like to work with, ask them if they're a certified mentor. And if they're not, you might want to encourage them to complete the courses to become a certified mentor. Yeah, I guess they would still have to do that. I was going to say, if you wanted to ask them if they wanted to start a team, and you could be part of their team. But yeah, so you can definitely pick whatever mentor you want. Or if you don't know of anybody, you'll be assigned a mentor randomly. And then you can kind of like interview them, meet up with them, see if you guys jive. If you don't, you can ask for a new mentor.
Okay, so we can kind of interview like, yeah, I'd like to work under you and have you show me the ropes, or you know what, I don't really care for your attitude, so I'm gonna go find, because there's only 3 individuals. I don't know if they're teams or not. It was a quick Google search just to kind of try to figure that out, because it doesn't really explain too much on like the Will group training, and actually nobody really talks about it. Like everybody just assumes real estate agents, they're by themselves, they're doing their own thing. But I know there are cohorts, there are teams, there's statewide things, and there's interstate things where like, oh yeah, I got a dude in Georgia who wants to buy a home in Florida, and they have people connected in teams that way, but nobody ever talks about it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, because of those 2 routes you can take, and then there's different types of teams, Mega Icon, and all these different setups. And it can be kind of overwhelming to like try to learn about that stuff when you're not even licensed yet. Yeah, so it's kind of the reason for that. But once you get or are approaching that point, I'd be happy to meet up with you one-on-one and talk you through, because a good way to find people that are mentors is on Workplace, which is, it's like Facebook for businesses. And so once you're licensed with EXP, you'll have access to Workplace. And so you'll be able to see every person that's on EXP in your area. And then usually certified mentors, they'll put it in their like name block, certified mentor, whatever state they're in. And then you can kind of sift through there, see if you find someone that has similar interests on their profile.
Gotcha. Awesome. Appreciate it, Zor.
Yep. And one other random little thing on that, on the team / mentor route. So with the mentorship program, so like you said, first 3 deals, you're paired up with them. So they get, so you start your 80-20 with the XP until you cap if you're a solo agent. So that's 20% of every commission until you hit 16K. So it's a total of like 4 million worth of sales. At that point, you've paid 16K to EXP, and then after that, you're 100%. However, with your first 3 deals, since you're paired up with a mentor, it's that 20% for the standard 80-20, and then tacked onto that is another 20% for those first 3 deals. And then 10% of that 20% goes to your mentor, and then 10% goes to the EXP mentorship program, which there's people that run the program that behind the scenes that are doing like the matchmaking and stuff and administrative work. Do they really earn that 10%? I don't know, that's not for me to judge, but if you were to join a team that has a certified mentor, so that would fulfill that requirement of having somebody that's been in the business, that mentor, they can charge you whatever they want to charge you. So maybe if you're bringing your own leads to the table, they might just 10% instead of the 20 or something different. But yeah, something to think about. Sam?
So going back to how we don't get our commission or compensated, but getting the experience is valuable. I totally agree with that, but I don't necessarily plan on staying with EXP after the internship. So my thought is I don't want to market myself as EXP, spend money on marketing, like business cards, so on and so forth, for the next 2 months just to go pay for it again and market myself with a different brokerage.
Yeah.
So that's, and tell me if I'm wrong in that thought process, but that's kind of my thinking, is I don't necessarily want to get too deep into it if I know I'm planning on switching brokerages.
Yeah. So what brokerage are you planning on going to?
I've been looking around here in Colorado, so I have a few that I do plan on interviewing with, but yeah, I don't know for sure yet.
So what's the reason for knowing that you don't want to do EXP?
So if I do stay with EXP, I want to find a team that's more locally sourced here in Colorado. But I just think for starting off, I think that might be better for me. EXP might be for me in the future, definitely, but as I'm learning and stuff like that, I think it might be better for me to go with a different brokerage.
What makes you say that though?
Just the virtual aspect, like having people here physically and like a physical office, I think that would be better for me.
Yeah, I can see how that can happen. Those that joined our team, and he had the kind of a similar mindset where he wanted a physical office. So he jumped ship to another brokerage that had like office hours where you got to sit there and answer phone calls and stuff. And he has kind of done what he did before on our team, and kind of like on his own program, not really showing up to the office for that. I'm not saying that that's what you're going to do, but I'm just saying it's like you got to, for one, you can definitely find a team in Colorado that's with EXP that
Right.
offers like all the in-person training that you need to succeed, just like I did out here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So for everyone in the audience, I'm not on the group team. I am on a different team here in Hawaii, and so everybody can join whatever team is locally based in your area. Join that team. There's nothing wrong with that. So you don't have to change brokerages to join some other team with some other, you know what I mean? So there's tons of EXP teams in every state. So if you want help finding a team in your area, I'm happy to walk you through on a workplace and show you the teams that are available, and you can reach out to them. We've had a lot of interns have success with that in states across the country. So yeah, just to consider.
Yeah, and I haven't wrote off EXP at all. I know that if I were to stay with EXP, having a team that knows Colorado makes more sense than me staying with Quilt Group, who only has one person in Colorado and they've only been an agent for less than a year.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's perfectly fine for you to join some other team that's based in Colorado. Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
Yep. Roger?
Just real quick on Sam's thing. So that's 100% a real thing. I think I was looking at pros and cons of EXP because I was wondering the same thing. And there was like, it was some ridiculous, it was like 20,000 or no, 2,000, sorry, not 20,000, like 2,000 realtors in like 2020 left EXP for the same thing because they thought they'd have better luck having a physical office. And I mean, it might be, Colorado, the population may be an older population. They want to actually talk to somebody. They don't know how Zoom works and stuff like that. Like, I know if I went back to my hometown, like, I would have to have a small office because everyone there is either a child or they're 70 and above because it's a retirement town. There's a population of 500 people there. But also, I don't think there's any rules that says with EXP you can't go lease an office because I mean, why not? Like, like I know in Florida though, realtors, specifically realtors, we can't own office space. We can only lease it. Which I thought was kind of weird. I don't know if it's like that in every other state, but the reason being is because then every office space or every business complex would have 40 real estate agents or realtors within it because everybody wants their own office. They want to be their own manager, their own boss, and then they want people to work under them. Nobody wants to work for anybody. But yeah, as we're back over to you, if I don't think there's anything that says just because you're an EXP real estate agent, you can't go lease or buy an office and have a physical office if that's what suits you and your team better. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's accurate. There's plenty of EXP teams that have physical offices, but again, there's the cost associated with that. Is like if you're the team leader, how much are you paying for that? How much is being added to your expenses to run that business within a business? And then are you shifting that onto your teammates? So if you're looking for that team with the physical office space, your splits are probably going to be higher because that's like the whole point of EXP being the cloud-based brokerage to cut down. So like Coldwell Banker, Berkshire, like all those big names that are known for having physical office spaces, the Compass, all that. They put that cost of that office that you love going to, that seems like it's free. You're paying for it in your splits. So like Coldwell Banker, so if anybody has experience with Coldwell Banker, please correct me. But as far as I know, their splits are like 70-30 starting out, and then at best 80-20. Keller Williams, I think, is at best 90-10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you look at the splits, and then some companies, like I'm pretty sure Berkshire does, they don't charge you a monthly fee. So EXP, it's $88 a month. But Berkshire, because there's some folks there trying to recruit me, Berkshire charges you like $700 per transaction. So yeah, you don't got to pay a monthly fee, but you do one deal and they get enough money out of you to last 8 months. So different factors that you might want to dig into and talk to and just interview people. Like go talk to if you see a team that you're thinking about joining at a different brokerage, talk to them. What are the benefits like? Where can I find in black and white what the costs are going to be for each transaction, for office fee, for printer fee, all these other fees that they add on when you have a physical office space, or if they have different setup for monthly costs. So yeah, stuff to consider. Definitely
How do you do it, Zor? Like, do you just sign the contracts on the hood of your car? Do you When you do an open house and everything's closing, you have in your contract that, hey, we're going to use the dining room table in your house as an office space to sign all the paperwork and meet with everybody, or how do you do it?
So for the purchase agreements, it's all DocuSign. So when I'm first meeting with a client, it's usually at a cafe, which gives you the opportunity to, treat them to a coffee or small breakfast or whatever you're meeting them for. So it gives you that opportunity to, kind of win them over by gifting them something right off the bat. Or you could also meet up like at your local title office. There are EXP office. So EXP has a contract with Regis, and they also have in some areas, it's called the Success Spaces, based off of the Success magazine or whatever that company is. And so you can definitely rent. They have different setups where you can do like a monthly payment, like if you want like a permanent office, or you can do just like a one-time. You show up for one day, meet with your client just for that period, and that's all you pay for. But yeah, so as far as how I do it, meet up at a cafe, talk to them. Hey, this is what to expect in the buying process, the whole buyer presentation. And then the next time I'm meeting with them is doing showings, showing them around different houses. Maybe schedule, if there's a vacant house, schedule a longer appointment there, because if you think it's one that they're going to like more than the others, schedule a longer appointment there. Then you have the opportunity to talk to them, like maybe sit down there and talk to them about what they've seen so far, what they like, what they don't like, and then continue doing more showings once they've found a house that they're ready to put an offer in on. Then you're like, all right, I'll send you the DocuSign. So they sign it on their phone or on the computer, and then the actual pen and paper signing will happen at the title company, which I haven't dealt with a title company that doesn't have an office space, but title company will have you over, and they'll break out the water bottles and everything and set up the desk for everybody to sit around and sign. Or you can do a mobile notary and meet at a restaurant or a cafe, whatever it is. So yeah, there's really, aside from having the like forced discipline of like going to an office which I definitely sympathize with that. Like I often go to the cafe to get work done, because if I stay here at home trying to do work, I'll be like, oh man, I gotta use the restroom. I'll walk to the bathroom, see that there's some laundry on the floor, start doing laundry. Like, oh, I'm kind of hungry now. Go to the fridge, grab a snack. As I'm grabbing a snack, I see the coffee machine needs to be reloaded, and it's just 2 hours later, I'm like, oh crap, I just got up to use the restroom, and now I just wasted 2 hours doing random things around the house. So I definitely understand the desire to have a physical office space, and so when I need to get stuff done, I just go to the cafe, put my noise canceling headphones on, and get work done. Yeah. And then the other thing, so test prep. Anything to add to that topic for anybody else? But yeah, I definitely recommend, again, try it out. I see what you're saying, Sam, as far as like, you don't know if you want to stick with EXP. You don't have to, market yourself like crazy. You can just get licensed, get in the business, start talking to maybe people already in the area that are interested in buying and selling. And so you can start talking to them. You don't have to, get your listing signs, your open house signs, all that stuff made. You can just start getting a feel for the business, because who knows, maybe, like I said, you're waiting till you're out, till join a different brokerage. You wait until you're out, and then in comes the whole 6 to 8 months on average to close your first deal. So you're like, all right, hey, what's up, Remax? I want to join your team. You're really well established here in Colorado. And like, all right, yeah, you can sit the phone. You're a new guy, so you can sit the phone every day for the next couple months until you close your first deal. You're sitting there at that phone for a couple months. You're like, a month goes by. All right, I'm getting the hang of this answering the phone thing and working from here. I'm kind of enjoying it, but not really seeing any money come in yet. Month 2 goes by, still nothing. Maybe like your teammates offer to put you on their deal and you just help out with their administrative stuff. but months start to go by and you're like the pressure of, I need to see some money coming in because I have bills to pay, I have a car, I have rent or mortgage, and 3-4 months go by and you're like, all right, and now the monthly fees for this brokerage starting to eat away at me. I'm stressed, all that stuff, anxiety. Maybe real estate just isn't for me. I'm just gonna go work at a GS job or something like that. But you could experience that right now while you're still active duty, still getting paid by the military, and then later on, or maybe right before you get out, you're like, you know what, this isn't for me. Or you're like, I love this business. This brokerage actually isn't that bad. Yeah. I'm just gonna review what's in the chat box real quick. Even if you don't like being a real estate agent, you can still make great money on the side just being a referral agent, skip all the running around. Yeah, that's a great point. And EXP does have a referral agent program. So you just get licensed and then make 25-30% off of every deal that you refer out to somebody. EXP pays a service to have share office space. I forgot the name of so that's Regus, REGUS. You can research the company if you want. They do at least office spaces you can go to. I've never been to one. Yeah, actually, we just visited our official EXP office here in Hawaii the first time last week because somebody sent mail over there. So I went to go pick it up after it being delivered like 5 months ago. And they do have office spaces there where you can, in a little table with like a sink kitchen area where if you want to have like a big company party or whatever, you can do that. But if you don't want to do that, you don't want to pay for that every month because you're not using it every month or every day, then you don't have to. You just pay $88 a month. Leon Parson, at least I'm not the only one who gets distracted at home. Yep, I think it's all of us. Joe, I'd like to discuss business structure with anyone in the skill bridge that's already licensed. I see the benefits of LLC and S Corp, but would like some input before I have a meeting with my tax guy next month to discuss business structure from a tax perspective.
Nick just put a follow-up in there, Zor, that that's next week's topic. So I guess I'm totally missing where the topics are listed because I would have looked ahead and seen that and been like, oh, I'm totally good before next month.
Oh no, you're fine. I'll just behind the scenes, Nick and I talking. But yeah, Nick's gonna be doing a little class on tax strategies coming up on the end of the year. Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Oh, I was gonna say it's a monster. It might take honestly, I think I'm at 40 slides right now, and I haven't even gotten to strategy. It's just like key terms and concepts. So I might need like 2 weeks. I don't know, but it's really big. And we do go over S corps versus LLCs versus C corps, and which one fits your business structure the best. For most, and honestly, this is like a really controversial topic. Like people argue about this over which is better, S corp or C corp for real estate agents. My opinion is S corp. That's what I personally think. LLC doesn't do anything for you in terms of taxes. LLCs are just a legal protection. So if you own a property through an LLC, they can sue the LLC, but not you, if that makes sense. So yeah, we can talk about all that stuff next week, or if you want to contact me offline, we can talk about it then too.
I'm excited to hear about that. I'm just now getting into, we started our S Corp this year, which I might need to get a new tax guy because our tax guy is really hard to get a hold of, and not really answering our questions and stuff. But what I know so far is, which basically nothing, you make your S Corp and then you make yourself an employee of your company, pay yourself a lower amount than you're actually making because your company is making most. That's get taxed as that lower bracket instead of $300K a year.
That's right. Yeah. The object is to own nothing but control everything. So basically you control this business, and this business is worth a lot of money, right? But the business might not actually be reporting any profits because you're reinvesting it all back into the business, right? You're spending it on, say, trucks to get you around, gasoline as a business expense to go to meetings, stuff like that. So your business isn't really showing that much of a profit, but in reality, you're enhancing your life through it. So there's a lot of games you can play with that. Yeah, you can use an S corp, especially as a real estate professional, to really leverage your profession and lower your tax incomes. I don't want to get into like huge politics or anything or touch that hornet's nest, But we had a president a few years back that released his tax statement, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, how did this person make millions of dollars? He says he's a billionaire, but he paid no taxes." Meanwhile, all the real estate professionals were like, "Duh, we don't pay taxes. I made more money last year than my entire naval career. Paid almost nothing in taxes." And it's because real estate has always been really favored by the U.S. tax code. Not only because they say our founding fathers all owned real estate, so of course they were gonna, make the tax code favor themselves, but because real estate is a necessity for life, just like food or utilities, right? People need places to live. That's just how it is. And so the IRS isn't going to tax something that people need to survive. Like they wouldn't overtax food, they wouldn't overtax electricity or water. Why would they overtax real estate? In fact, they somewhat, you could argue they subsidize it, but not really. But anyway, we'll get into all that next week.
Excited to learn about that. Thank you, Nick. Roger, do you have another question?
No, I just wanted to say, so Nick, if you want help with it, I have an MBA. I'm very familiar with.
Oh, that's sick.
I'm very familiar with tax code, tax law. At one point, I touched CPA certification and realized that's a horrible thing. And I've owned a multi-member LLC, single-member LIC, and now I own an S Corp. So I know a decent amount of all of them and how horrible and great they all are. So if you want anything, just go ahead and hit me up.
I am putting my number in I just put my number in the group chat. If you don't mind shooting me a text before,
I'll shoot you a text.
We'll link up. I would love to pick your brain and get help on the presentation. It is, it's a monster. I mean, U.S. tax code is complicated.
It is, and
it's insane.
And we've actually touched on it. The founding fathers definitely made America a great country, but they made the tax code, especially Alexander Hamilton. He was the worst at it after founding the U.S. Bank and the Coast Guard and all that. And he was the money man. And so we can talk about it more next week. But I'll shoot you a text.
Sweet, can't wait, man.
And the best part of all of that is it's 100% legal. It's just that over the years, people have come to think that it's tricking the system, but I think that's some people have probably done that on purpose to scare people away from doing it so they can hog it all to themselves. But it's just a matter of getting educated on these different rules and laws and making it work for yourself, because you are improving the quality of life for the country by being a good business that's hiring employees, providing income for people, providing a living space for people. And so the government sees those types of businesses favorably, and because they're making the country better, instead of the government having to do everything, it has little companies here and there keeping the country strong.
Yeah.
But we're over the 30-minute mark. Stick around for a little more questions, or if anyone wants to talk more about tax stuff. But thank you everyone for coming in today. Feel free to reach out to me. Everyone has my phone number. If you click on my face in Slack, it'll bring up my phone number. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and have a wonderful week. Aloha.
No one wanted to talk tax.